When I first launched this YouTube channel, it was primarily for the purpose of focusing upon the proven dangers of the fracking process and alerting the regional governments and authorities and regulatory bodies as to what these dangers are, and at the same time providing the regional community with a forum to express their deeply held concerns in relation to this matter. We have followed all the requisite protocols to further these objections and concerns, but to no avail whatsoever. We do have elected representatives. We get their glossy newsletters from Mr. Shane Love, the MLA for Moore, and Melissa Price, federal member for Durack, who are purportedly representatives for the people who elected them for representation, but they do not represent the people at all. The only entity they are representing or acting on behalf of are the mining corporations and other vested interests, but not the people. All they do is swan around on taxpayer money, having their photo opportunities with various people around the traps and making everyone feel good about the job that they're not actually doing. If anything, they are smiling assassins, because I have registered concerns in regard to the chemtrails being sprayed every day over our heads, sometimes much worse than others. It's not as severe here in Midwest Australia as it is in many countries overseas, but it is an ongoing crime against humanity, and I have duly registered this as a crime and been ignored. I shall go into this in some depth in this section. In the meantime, have a look at this. Chemtrails have been widely reported and studied in depth to be exposed as the most heinous crime against humanity, right up there with fracking. If you go outside and look out in the skies, chances are you'll probably see something, quite often going from horizon to horizon. Now, I have registered concern and been fobbed off with the abject nonsense that these are contrails. Well, the definition of contrail is something that occurs when a plane is travelling at high altitude. It needs to be at least 30,000 feet or more, with outside temperatures of -30, and the passage through the skies and compresses the air into water vapour or ice crystals through the engines and off the wingtips, and this trail disappears a minute or so due to the evaporation, because it's just water, and it disappears at the same rate as the aircraft moves across the skies. Chemtrails, however, are very different and markedly and easily recognisable. So they linger in place, they spread out, and instead of disappearing, it seeps into the surrounding area and becomes a sort of a hazy cloud bank. These trails can traverse the whole sky and they can hang around for up to 8 hours. They've been known to turn completely clear blue skies into a grey haze. It's believed these, well, it's known, it's understood and it's proven that these chemtrails are composed of oil-based substances, a number of toxic chemicals, strontium, barium, nitrogen, aluminium, and they are dumping these dreadful things over schools, over agricultural farmland, wherever they see fit. Fortunately for us here in Midwest Australia, the intensity is not as severe, but it's nothing unusual to come outside of your house and see them happening from horizon to horizon. This is right up there with fracking as a crime against humanity, and we need to ask ourselves who is responsible. Our elected representatives, again, are doing nothing to assist us. Instead, they're getting behind the most treasonous government this nation has ever endured, with the TPP being negotiated behind closed doors in secret, an act of treason against the Australian people and against the world at large, because decisions will be made by corporate heads on the other side of the planet. And if a regional community doesn't want anything like fracking to go ahead in their region and register objections and actually succeed in halting these invasions, then these criminal corporations can turn around and sue the people that have managed to halt their crimes. The importance of this issue cannot be overstated. It must be fully understood just what this means, just what it represents. For example, these corporations have had in attendance of these negotiations, fully participating, some 600 delegates. Yet none of the outside agencies or so-called representatives have been allowed access to the text of these negotiations. This is a criminal conspiracy, and it's happening right under our noses. Along with the ecocide of fracking and the aerial poisoning of chemtrails, I'm not sure what more proof people need to fully apprehend the seriousness of the assault which we're under. I don't have any remedies to offer at this point in time. I can report that numerous people around the globe are waking up to this, action groups are forming, information is getting out and being disseminated, but it must be understood that if these globalists are successful at implementing their takeover, which is what it amounts to, the consequences do not bear thinking about. As it is, we exist under their covert rules of debt slavery. This is being rapidly exposed and countered. I recommend the presentations and writings of Karen Hooters, a whistleblower from the World Bank, who's making some important inroads into taking these criminals to task. But the way things stand at the moment, it is a very perilous situation here in Australia and wherever else these criminals are seeking to enforce their corporate control. It is unmitigated fascism. When corporations control the government, which is what they have done for many years now, the Australian government is a corporation registered in Washington, DC, as indeed are all the state governments. They already own and control the courts. The judges are acting as administrators for private corporations. Ask yourself, how long has it been since you saw any meaningful justice from our court systems. They are abused by these corrupt entities. Worst are the children's courts. There is child stealing and child trafficking going on, and that are protected by the family courts. In the UK, there's a very famous, or should I say infamous, case of the Hampstead children. I recommend you go to the UK column live and see details of that. There are more than enough whistleblowers, but when people report child crime, pedophilia to the police, it's the people that make the reports that are arrested and put in jail, as is the case with Barry Green and Melanie Shaw in the UK. I've no doubt the same things are happening here in Australia. But I can only focus on so many issues for these presentations. It's too broad an issue to cover it all. But importantly for this section, I wanted to alert everyone to the danger that we face and ask you to at least first become informed. Here in our community, we still have people saying, oh, the government wouldn't do that. Well, the government are doing that and worse. So check your facts. People say they're offended by my speaking this truth. Well, you won't be offended if you stop living the lie that's being promulgated by a corrupt mainstream media. I'm Tony Lambert. Thank you for your time.